You've reached the office of the district attorney. Our normal business hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you know your party's extension, you can dial it at any time. For general assistance, press 0.
Please wait. It's being transferred. Good afternoon, District Attorney's Office.
Yes, is Miss Fisher in?
May I ask who's calling?
Donna Underwood.
Okay, give me just a moment.
Thank you.
District Attorney's Office, this is Susan.
Yes, ma'am. Did you have a chance to talk to Mr. Ramsey about my son's case?
You know, I did. I was just waiting to hear back from him again. He said he was going to send me an email to let me know.
Do what now?
He was supposed to send me an email, and he just hadn't had a chance yet. He was going to lay out what he wanted me to tell you. I do know he's not planning on moving forward. If you want more of an explanation, I can give that to you once he sends me that email.
Yes, ma'am, I do. Dr. Urban had told me that they had talked about the same thing that we have, which was that she couldn't prove it, so I did want to know why.
Well, it takes more than just somebody's testimony to prove it, but anyway, I will, like I said, I will get back to you as soon as he gives me that email.
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I understand about somebody's testimony, but this is the reason that the investigators told me that they was going with suicide. It's because the medical examiner had ruled it that way, and she said she ruled it that way, or the student did, because of the autopsy and the investigator report, which there was nothing hardly done on the me that, because I really want to know his reasons, you know.
Well, I will call and tell you in person as soon as I get that from him. I mean, over the phone, you know.
Okay.
I will give you a call as soon as I get that from him.
All right, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, with the district attorney's office.
Yes, ma'am.
I was just getting back to you. I did want you to know our district attorney, Will Ramsey, did speak with Dr. Jill Urban.
Yes, ma'am.
She did not give him any new information, and her opinion, he said, remained the same as it had before. So he just wanted you to know that this case is closed. The only way it would ever be reopened is if there was new evidence, he said valid new evidence presented through law enforcement. So that would be through the Silver Springs Police Department or the Texas Rangers.
Okay, I don't understand why he's saying there's new, the same as before, because she said that she talked to him and we discussed, and she said that she could not tell by the autopsy that who pulled that trigger, and they just went by the autopsy and the investigator report.
Okay, well, there is just not, I mean, there's not information there that like we can move forward with anything. So it's closed, and I'm sorry for your loss, but unless law enforcement would bring something new to us, we're not looking into it further.
I was told to go talk to them.
That's what Dr. Urban had told me, to talk to the JP and to the DA, and nobody would even let me talk to him. So
this is you talking to him. I mean, this is his answer, and he's got it here in writing for me to share with you.
Okay, could you go ahead and send that to my email? It's donnau@hotmail.com.
Hotmail.com. I will see what, I'll just check with him to see how he wants to proceed, but,
I mean, and I have also have witness of her confessing.
I gave him all that information, her contact information, everything.
And I mean, she had recoil. She had
Checked into it thoroughly with several people, and this is what he's decided. I mean, the case is closed. We're not going to reopen it unless more information comes in through law enforcement, that he would deem worthy to open the case.
Okay, and who did he talk to besides Dr. Urban?
Oh, he talked to several people, but
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know that I'm going to disclose who all he talked to, but the doctor's opinion remains the same, he said, Dr. Urban, and I will tell you that. So, anyway, but we're, I'm sorry, this case is done, and I mean, I just hope you can find something that you can move forward.
I am moving forward, yes, ma'am. That's what I have waited, and I've got a private eye that has already investigated it, so yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. All right. Well,
All right, send me what you can, and I guess I can request the rest of it through Open Records. Thank you.
okay. Bye.
Because I come into it, Lord willing, with a burden, okay? I want you to hear me say that. And let me tell you this, as a prosecutor, your duty is to seek justice. And that's a word that we throw around, we use it every day, but that is one of those words that's just heavy. It's just one of those words that we use, but there's so much behind it. Justice, as we were saying the other day, justice is great, and it's just incredible when you've got a bad guy that you're able to go in there and do everything right and protect people and then put this guy away for where he can't hurt any more people. Boy, that feels good. But you know what? Justice is also sometimes having to make the hard decisions. You know what I'm talking about? Justice is being able to look at a case and based on what you know is true, having to make a tough decision and do what's right. That's also justice. That's the other side of justice. And I want to tell you that coming into this office, again, Lord, that I get there, I come into it with a burden to do the right thing and to seek justice. If anybody has any questions now or in the future, please contact me, because I want you to know I'm here to listen to you and to work for you. And I just really appreciate the opportunity to come in here and be able to speak to you tonight. So I'd appreciate your support. Thank you very much. If you understand what I'm saying. All these positions, all these gentlemen getting up here and talking, everything goes better if you've just got an individual in there that's ready to get to work, that's ready to be there, be present, and do what you're supposed to do your job. And that's what I want to do. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about getting in there and working. I just want you to know that, okay? Another reason that I like being a prosecutor is I like going into a courtroom and wearing the proverbial white hat. I like going in representing law enforcement, representing hopefully the truth and justice. That's what I like to do, and I like it. I like it when the good guys win, but I think a big part of that is doing it correctly. That white hat can get tainted if you don't watch it. And as a prosecutor, your job is not just to secure convictions, but your job is to do justice, and that's extremely important. Every part of that is important.
It's nice and warm in here.
Remind me on the way out, I've got your ID. Okay.
We have, can I get his wallet at all? I have credit cards in there too, and
Okay, I'll give you back anything that's in your name, okay? I'm probably gonna turn his wallet over to his mom and dad, though,
Okay.
But,
because the Discover card we just got was actually my card, but it's in his name, so I guess I can't have that credit card. And I don't know if he was going to set the gun down, what he was doing. He didn't say a word. He just bent over and shot. I'm sorry. He hit the floor.
did you see him when the gunshot went off?
He was 6 inches from my face.
He was 6 inches from
Like
your
I
face.
said, I've got a bruise still here from the butt of the gun.
Right.
I mean, we were face to face.
Were you holding his hand at that time?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't remember. I didn't remember you saying that, but again,
No, I had dropped to my knees, and when I stood back up is when he shot the gun is when I stood back up.
Okay. Where's your bruise at again?
Right here. It's starting to itch now, so hopefully it's healing. He always told me this ring wasn't big enough, 5 carats wasn't big enough, and I said, I don't care. And so I don't know if he ever purchased one yet or not.
Okay.
I just know that there was a big lump of sum of money that was gone, so I assumed that's what he did because some of the rings that he was looking at online.
There was a big lump sum of money that was gone?
Yeah.
Pretty much unaccounted for?
Right. And that's the only thing I could think of is,
How much money was unaccounted for?
about 2,000.
About 2,000?
And the only thing I could think of is,
When do you know when did you discover this money was unaccounted for?
when he kept the cash there at the house in a jar, and he told me to go get a $100 bill out of there to put gas in the truck one day, and I like to keep account of how much money.
Where did he keep his jar?
It was a jar on the mantle there, separating the kitchen and the living room. That
Is there any money left in that mantle now? Okay. So the 2,000 wasn't unaccounted for out of your checking account, but it was unaccounted for in cash. Okay. How much did you say you got? He originally put about 9,000 in that jar. Okay. Okay. So after you checked the bank account, he didn't seem pleased about that.
No, when he asked me that, and I told him I could get a better job. He jumped up off the couch and he said, well, I can show you what I'm going to do about it. What? I said that we had a case that you were helped tips on before. That's how I knew you.
Okay. Cell phone, now you've given it to his parents, right? And the computer also, is that right?
Yeah, I just wanted to get my stuff off
Did you
of it.
erase everything off of both of them?
I just erased my stuff.
Off of what, the computer?
The laptop, yeah.
What
'Cause
about the phone?
I didn't erase anything off the phone.
Did you erase anything off the phone?
Yes.
What?
Jason erased the numbers.
Jason.
I don't know his last name.
What all did you erase from the computer? I'll tell you right now, okay, this business of changing anything, okay, altering anything is going to stop right here and now, okay?
Right. I don't have anything in his.
Well, I understand that, okay, but you've already erased a dang phone. You've taken stuff off a computer. There's no reason to do any of that, Rebecca.
Well,
No,
I knew they weren't going to
I
let me
don't
have
care.
anything
There's
off
no
the
reason
computer that was
to
mine.
do any of that, okay? That doesn't look anything but bad. Anything but bad. Did you do that?
The day after we got when I left here.
When you left here, that's what you did? Mm-hmm. Now, did you also text somebody when you left here while you was waiting here? Text them, tell them about what happened?
I can't remember. I think it was from Mike Woods, up from his phone. Mike Woods is an officer, and
What did you text Mike Woods?
I told him about Daniel.
I'm Detective Fox, Sulphur Springs Police Department. It is 2:57 p.m., September 10th, 2008.
Well, we knew there was a bunch of boxes packed up, and that supposedly he was fixing to kick her out.
Okay.
And they was fighting. Turned around after they got home and everything, and they was drinking. They had opened a big bottle of alcohol, which I know Daniel did not drink liquor. He drank beer.
Right.
Well, she said they opened a big bottle of alcohol and was drinking on it. Well, they got an argument over the bank statement, and he goes, well, I'm just going to finish this right now. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take care of this. And she said she didn't know what he's talking about. Well, she said she turned around and went down the hall, and he was standing there with the shotgun up under him.
Right.
Well, that was the first story, that she went down there and he had it up under his chin, and he acted like he was going to take it away from out from under his chin, and it went off. Mm-hmm. Well, later on in the weekend when we talked to her, she said that...
That's what Rebecca told me.
That is what Rebecca told me, and I
he acted like he was going to take it away from his chin, and it went
Yes.
off.
Kind of like they was fighting over it or something.
Right.
Right. On the weekend, she was around some Dina girl that was supposedly there the night too. Uh-huh. There's supposed to be 4 or 5 other people there. Uh-huh. Well, this Dina girl started explaining how everything was on the walls and everything. So she had been there, obviously. Right. Well, she had changed her story to they was fighting over it again, and she grabbed the gun. Mm-hmm. And that's when it went off. It got the side of his head. Mm-hmm. The second story, she didn't even mention nothing about it being up under his chin or nothing.
So you heard that directly from
Yes.
Rebecca again?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the last time we talked most of the time. And I know she tried to get a hold of you, and she called Chad Cable, whatever, the lawyer. Mm-hmm. And she was wanting to find out because they had called her wanting to get the Durango back. Mm-hmm. Supposedly she was supposed to have his laptop, which she did, and some pool stick and some rings or something like that. Well, she slept off and on most of the morning. I was over there, I'll say, for about 3 hours. They was fighting and everything, and that just totally blew everything up. So she didn't really say too much that morning. She just cried and acted like she was just so brokenhearted. And then the next time we seen her, she acted like she had never been with him, to be perfectly honest with you.
Did she have her cell phone that morning?
Yes, she did. And she supposedly erased everything out of it. And she talked to his mom and dad that morning, and I followed Donnie back over there to take the Durango because she didn't want to go back over there. So I took the cell phone back, the charger, what else did I have? And the Durango, and both keys.
Did you help her erase the phone?
No, sir. Did not touch anything on the phone. All I done was took it back to him.
Okay. But you didn't help her?
No, sir. I didn't know nothing. Yes, sir. I didn't know nothing about the phone. Okay. Because when she got the phone with Donnie, or what's her name? Donna. I think that's his mom's name. Mm-hmm. Her personal cell phone, she was like, F you, and she just threw it into the wall and shattered it.
Broke it?
Yes.
That was that morning?
And I went back over there to meet his parents, to take the Durango and his phone back because they was going to press charges if not. So I took everything back to them, and that's when they said, got in his phone, said that everything was erased out of it. And they let me get her jewelry box, some rings, some clothes of hers, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Information. If somebody has first-hand information, they want to tell you something, say, hold on.
Okay.
Call me, okay? Because you know how many calls I've gotten from people?
Probably quite a few.
Not hardly any.
Really?
Not hardly.
She was friends with you, Rebecca said. She told me that morning she was good friends with you.
I want to talk about that a little bit, okay? What was said during that conversation?
She just said that she wanted to know if she had to take the Durango back.
No, I want to talk good friends with me. What
That's all she said. She was just good friends with you.
Was that morning at 7:30 when she called?
No, that was that morning when I went to the Stair Apartments right before I brought the Durango and everything
Tell me
back.
exactly what she said there.
She just said she was good friends with you, and she supposedly got on the phone, called your secretary, and you wasn't in or something, and she turned right around and called Chad Cagle to see what her rights was that Daniel had gave the Durango to her.
Okay. Well, okay, and also, if people want to talk, well, I know this or whatever, if they have first-hand information, they need to contact me, okay? And then we can
You see all the bruises on her.
Yeah, let us do our job, okay? Like I say, I want first-hand information.
I understand.
Okay?
I have talked to Rebecca. I mentioned that to Amber because she told me to call Amber. Amber should know. And to his parents and my fiance.
Okay.
She started the whole story out with, well, I almost went to prison once, and I was like, well, what for? And she said, killing my ex-fiance. Got home and was fighting about money that he was saying that she stole and some property that he said that she, was missing from his home and all this kind of stuff, and got his gun. And she said, I came back out in the hallway and told him, it better stop, I'm not effing playing anymore. And she said he grabbed the gun. She had it with her finger on the trigger. The way she was showing me when she was holding it, she had her finger on the trigger and her hand above the trigger with the barrel, going up in the air. And she said he grabbed the barrel of it and pushed it back to where it was like over her right shoulder with the barrel of it facing the wall behind her. And she said, they continued to scream and holler and whatnot, and he told her, give him the effing gun. And in her story, she said, it was either me or him, so I swung it forward and blew his fucking head off. And I said, so why aren't you in jail? Anybody would be in jail, I would think. But anyway, she said because they took it as a suicide because he actually pulled the gun toward him. I said, but you just said that you swung it forward and pulled the trigger and blew his effing head off. And she said, well, that's what happened, but, they ruled it as a suicide, so I went with it. Her story, she said, it was either me or him, so I swung it forward and blew his fucking head off.
She had the gun, not him. It's a murder.
I would like to believe that I was pretty clear that, my ruling was based on the investigation that was supplied to me by them, and not the other way around. I think the key here is that you've got information from this witness that could potentially change it from a suicide to a homicide or even just an undetermined. And, you're his mama. If you're not going to do it, who is?
There's nobody.
And then at that point, then you transition over to Sulphur Springs.
Yeah.
You've never been to Sulphur Springs as far as live there and kind of part of that community. What's it like moving to the town? And because I always joke around with the Rangers that I've worked with in East Texas about, there's not a Ranger Academy. You don't sprinkle Ranger dust on it and then you just automatically know all this stuff. But in hindsight, when you show up, you're new to the area, so they just think, oh, we got a Ranger. This guy knows how to investigate homicides and everything else. He's got it all figured out. So if you want to kind of explain just how that process works and how, I mean, you really can't admit your faults because you're a Texas Ranger. I mean, let's call it what it is.
Yeah.
And so you're already kind of held to that pedestal. So what does that feel like when you're like, oh shit?
December up till December the 31st, I had the highway patrol phone, and back then your phone number didn't go with you. You just didn't keep your phone. That turned over to the next highway patrol sergeant. That sort of thing. And my phone was ringing 24/7. As a highway patrol sergeant. Turn that phone over, pick up the Ranger phone, which happened to be a brand new phone, so no one had that number. And I kept checking. It was an old flip phone. I kept checking the phone because thinking, is the battery good? Because it's not ringing.
It's Ranger stuff.
Yeah, sure. I got this made. And I had a guy call me from one of my counties that I haven't even gotten there yet. Okay, at this point, and the phone rings. He goes, "Hey, are you the new Ranger?" Yes. He goes, "Oh, okay. Run into a little problem. This is what I got." And it's one of our detectives, and so and he lays out this problem, and he lays out how he feels like it needs to be handled. What do you think? I go, "Sure, yeah." I said, "Would you normally handle it that way?" "Yeah." So, "Yeah, sounds good to me." I phoned up, I did my Ranger stuff right. And it wasn't until several months later I got to where I knew everybody and everything. And this guy walks up and he goes, "Man, these have some sound advice, man. I certainly appreciate it. It was good to have you there." And I was like, "Fella, I didn't have a clue. I was just going with the flow. You said it, that sounded good." That sounded good to me. He was a detective at that point. He steps out and he goes, "You're the new Ranger." I mean, my leather squeaks when I'm walking. That's how new I am, right? And I said, "Yes, sir." He's, "Hey, come here. And he put me in the office room with him. About that time to bring an inmate in, set him down. And he said, "What do you need me to do?" He said, "Just sit there." That's okay. And so,
where this is going.
Yeah. He goes, "Look," he says, "Going a little too far now." He says, "We've got the Ranger involved now." He said, "I didn't want the Ranger involved, but he's here now." And so I'm over here taking notes, I'm doodling what I'm doing, but it looks really good.
The reason I like being a prosecutor is because I like the idea that there's just right and there's wrong. I like the idea that there's consequences for when you break the law. That there are things in our society that are not okay, and that if you do it, you'll be held responsible.